Hello everyone. So is my voice is audible for all? Can you check it? Just give a comment. We can start our section very soon. Okay. Just a minute. Hello. Is my voice is audible for all? Yeah. Okay. So fine. So we start our section very soon. So in the last section we have covered about the basics like what is variables, what is data types, and also we have covered about objects, arrays. So in this session we're going to see about some methods and all. Yeah, thank you. And also just going to see about methods and also some in-depth concepts of objects, and also we move on to what is the difference between primitive data types and reference data types, and we're going to see the functions, loops, so on. Okay, so that is what we're going to cover today. Just a minute, I share my screen. Yeah, okay, so I think my screen is visible for all. I just opened the JS bin. So in the last class, what we have largely talked about, the objects, right? So how to create an object, how to create an object literals and all, right? So literally we ended that. So right now we're going to see about methods in object. We just go relook the objects a bit more. So before that, what we're going to see, about functions. Okay, so the first topic for today is functions. What is functions? That is what we're going to say. Okay, so the same, I just open the VS Code and console.log. You can use it. Function. So what is actually a function? A function is nothing but you need to run if, where, and when we use this function means if we need to run a block of code whenever we want, we can use the function. So what does mean by this? So just look at the sentence. If we need to run a block of code, whenever we want, we can use these functions. So functions are nothing but it holds some set of code, some block of code is available. So whenever you calling that function, that block of code get executed and it will be run. For example, if I say a function, so there are two ways of declaring a function. We're going to see about all the two ways to declare a function. Two ways to declare a function. So one is called as declaration type, normal declaration in a function, and another one is called as expression. So we just see about it. So first, declaration. So for declaring a function, you need to use the function keyword. Okay, so make sure that your spelling is correct. Function, this is the keyword you need to use when you want to give the function, and then what you need to do, you need to give the name for the function. So this is going to be my function name. I named it as func name, and you need to use this parenthesis. I will explain what is this parenthesis and all, and what is the use of it and all. And you need to give the curly braces. And what is this curly braces? This curly braces is where your block of code is there. So whatever the code we need to run, it is there. Okay, for example, if I want to run something called console.log hello, so this is my code. So if I run this, you can notice that nothing will happen. Why? But because function is a thing, like it's like a variable also. So when I declare a function, what would happen? A memory is taken, and in the name of function name, so here you can see the name. So this function is stored. So if I want to run this function, then I need to call this function. Okay, so how we can call the function? We need to call the function by using the function name. So how can we call this? We can call simply like function, not, you need to call func the same, like just copy it and paste it, and you need to give the parenthesis because this is going to be a function and you need to call that. So if I run this, you can see this hello is come. So how it is executed? It is executed the same. If you declare a variable, if I say let a is equal to 10, what is the backward happen in our browser? So if I say a is equal to 10, a value of 10 is stored in a. So how can we access it? We need to call that a, right? So if I say console.log a, then what would happen? I can able to access it, I can able to work it, right? The same like if I declare a function, what happen? It will, a memory is stored for that function. So if I call the function name, then that will be executed. The only difference is here you can store a data, a value, but here you can store a statement. So what is my statement means? It's nothing but a block of code. So here you can write some set of codes, some block of codes, and it will perform that and it will be sent. For example, if I say let a equal to hello everyone, like this, and after that you need to, what you need to do, you need to return it. So what I can say means return a. So what does return? So you know this, right? So this is declaring a variable. So I just created a function and declared a variable inside it. And what is mean by this return keyword? So the return keyword returns the value, returns the actual result of this function. So if the function get executed, we need to say what to return. So here I say return a. So what is a? A is going to be hello everyone, right? So what this keyword will do? So this keyword return to whom it's calling. So here it is calling. So what I just going to say? I just going to say let uh, we can go with x equal to function name. So now this variable x is having a function name. This is evoking this function, and if it is evoked, this return keyword what will do? So if the function has a return keyword, that is going to be the end of the function. Okay, and this return keyword return whatever it has. So whatever it has the a. I say like if someone calls this function, just return this variable a. So now what happened? This variable a is returned to the place where it is evoked. So here, so if I say console.log x, now you can see that, you can see how everyone is displayed. How it is displayed? Because I say that return keyword, what it will do, it will return, it is going to be, first thing note is it is going to be the end of the function, and it is going to return something. So where it returned whom the function is called. So here the x is calling that function, right? So the x is calling the function, that is why the value is returned to here. So if I call the function console.log x, then what happened? Whatever the value that function has, the function get executed, and the return keyword is there. The return keyword send it, and it should be come for the console, and it will be displayed, right? So this is going to be the function of it. Okay, so this is going to be a normal function called as declaration function, and we also have something called as expression function. So this is another way of declaring that. So how it does means you can put your function inside a variable. So like we already do that. Like for example, we can say const add equal to, we can declare something called as function, sorry, function, and here you don't want to give the name, because I'm already putting that function inside a variable, so we can use this. We don't want to call the name. If I wanted, that is obviously no problem, but you don't want to use it. So this function, a function without name, it is called as anonymous functions. Okay, so like a function without a name, a person without a name, they are called as anonymous persons, right? So they are called as something called as hitmans, right? The same like this, here the function without a name, it is called as anonymous function, and I can store it in a variable. Here I can say something like console.log, if someone calls this, return he, okay, something like this. So what I going to do, I just going to call that function. So the function has no name. How can I call this? So you can call this by using this variable. So if I say add, the one thing you need to notice, if I say console.log, if I simply call add, then you can notice this entire function is going to be displayed in the console. You can see the entire formula. This is the formula of that, and you can see like windows.runner proxy. Don't worry about this, because this is something that written for this JS bin. Okay, so actual thing is just remove this, just avoid this. Actual thing is this formula, like you can note it in my console. If I go for the console, here you can see the function, entire formula for that function has been written, right? So why it is written? Because we don't use this parenthesis. So if I use this parenthesis only, it is telling that I want to evoke the function. I don't want this function. I want to evoke the function, which means I need to execute whatever the code inside that function I need to execute. Okay, so if I do this, you can see that he has been written, right? So this is going to be an expression type, and declaration is normally calling a function, expression is storing it in a variable and we calling it a function. This is okay. So the next thing what we're going to see it in a function, what is parameter and what is argument. Okay, so I just going to call a declaration function. I just call a function and I can say add, simply like this. Okay, so if I want to call the function, you need to call the name of the function like that. And here you can notice a parenthesis is there, right? So what is the use of this parenthesis? Means we can pass value inside here, and we can pass the value inside it, and we can use inside the functions. How can we do that? For example, if I say a comma b, something like that, and you can use it, whatever the name you want to give, you can able to give that. And now this a and b have access inside this function. So if I say let c, I declare a variable and I say a plus b. So what this a, what this b? This a is representing this and this b is representing this. Okay, so and after completing this, I just say return c. So do this action, which means add the value of a, add the value of b, and store it in c, and just return the c value. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I just call console.log directly, and inside it I just put it out. Okay, so what happens if I do means it returns me a nan. Why? Because here I just declared an identifier. You can see this is called as parameters. So same like variables, how we declare a variable, same like this is called as parameters. So here the parameter has no value. For example, how can we check it? Like how can I check it? I can check it by simply saying like console.log a comma b. So you can notice that it will return undefined. Means there is no value is declared. So what is the value of undefined? How it is, how we say undefined? And variable is declared but it doesn't have any values. So I already said this is going to be a parameter. It should store some values, and if it is store some values, we need to pass some values, right? Where we can pass when we call this function. Right now we calling this function, and here we can pass this function. For example, I say 5 comma 8. So what does it mean by this? If I say 5, then this value, this is going to store inside the a, and this value 8 is going to store inside the b. So if now I just clear it and I run it, you can notice the console.log a is value 5, and the console.log b, the value is 8, and it returns and it gets added, and it is stored in c, and the function returns the c where it is called, and here it is called, and it will be displayed 30. So this is the place where we can get the values from the outside of the function, and this is the place where we can pass the values to the parameters, and this place is called as arguments. So arguments are passing values and parameters are getting values from outside, and by using this parameter we can able to what we can able to do, we can able to use inside that function. Okay, instead of declaring it, what we can do, we can able to declare it. Okay, we can manually give it. Okay, so that is the thing. And also we can pass this value dynamically. So how, what is meant by dynamically? For example, I say let x is equal to 12, and I say let y equal to 14, and now we can able to pass this variables too. So now what happened, this function takes the variable x that has value 12, and it gets 14, and it will go and stored in the variable a, b, parameter a and b, and this parameter get added, and that value is going to be displayed here, and the value for this is 26, right? So this is actually a function is. So by using the function, what we can able to do, we can able to do some set of actions, and we can keep it in a memory, and whenever we want we can able to use it, right? So that is actually the power of the function. So by using the function we can avoid repetition. Okay, so that is the power. We can avoid the repetition of the code. What we can able to do, we can able to call that particular, if I want that particular block of code to run, what I can do, I just call that, that's it. Okay, so the next what I going to do, we're going to see about objects. Okay, so just remember function, what is function and all. We're going to see about object. So in the last class we have discussed about object, right? And also we have discussed about what is object property. I think you remember that. So for creating an object, I just say const, I just say person, and we need to give the curly braces, and this is called as property. What? The key value pass, key value pass. Okay, so this is called as property. For example, I can say name colon, and you can give whatever the name you want to give, and I can say the age, and I can say 12 is going to be the age of the person, and what I can say, whatever we need to give, this is going to be. And I already said that there is method is going to be there. Methods is already there. So what is mean by methods? So a method is nothing but passing a function as a value inside an object is called as method. For example, so here like key value pass, what I going to do, I just going to say, here we can give something like this, we leave this, here I can give details, this is going to be the key, and instead of passing a direct value, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass a function, an anonymous function. Okay, so I'm passing the anonymous function. So this function, which means a function inside an object, it is called as method. That's it. Okay, so what it's going to do, if someone calls this function, just console log, or instead we can simply say return. How can we access it? We can access by say person dot name plus we can say person dot age, like this. Okay, so it's going to return the name of the person, and it's going to return the age of the person. Okay, so what this person dot name, it's going to be Harry, and what the person of age, it's going to be age. Okay, if I call this, how can we call this? We can simply call, I say simply console dot log display, and we can call by using the detail. We need to call the object person, and we need to put a dot, and if I want to access the property, we simply call that like name. If I call this and run this, you can notice that value will be declared Hari, right? So this is going to be a property. But if I want to access the method, then what I need to do, I need to call details, and if I call this, this is going to be a function, right? This is going to be a function. So if I call like this, what happened, this entire formula will be written, not the code. You can notice that the entire formula is written but not the actual value, right? So for that you need to use the parenthesis. So if I use this parenthesis, this indicates like just evoke this function. I don't want this function, I need to evoke this function, which means I need to return the answer for this function. Okay, so if I run this, here you can notice the name of the person and age of the person has been written. Okay, so this is going to be the method of the objects. Okay, so this is going to be the method of the object. So now you can remember that in the starting of the class, I already said that everything in JavaScript is going to be an object. For example, till now we see something called as console.log, right? Console.log. So this is a defined one, a predefined one in JavaScript. Predefined one in JavaScript. How it is created? It's created by object only. So console is going to be an object name, like something like console, like this. Console like this, and log is going to be something like instead of details there is log, and there is a code has been written. So whatever we put inside it, it want to display it in our console. That is the code they had been written. Okay, so that is the code they have been written. This is a default object that present in the JavaScript, which means the person who developed JavaScript, right? So or the contributors who involved in developing JavaScript, they created this console.log method. How? By using object. So but here we created a manual. He created a manual object. So this is our object, and this is going to be the default object created by the JavaScript programmers. Okay, so this is the only difference. So this is a functionality we created for the person object, right? This is the functionality we created for the person object. But here this console.log is everything that created by the JavaScript, right? You may think like the updation has happened. Who is updating? Who is actually creating this language? The contributors who work for the languages, the contributors giving the contributions, and they have been created. And the string, array, whatever we see, everything is built by Java. Everything that's built in objects only. So if it is everything is built by objects, then what happened? Every data types has its methods and property, right? So if I say string is an data type, so it is also created by object, means it also has some property and also some of the method. Let me see what are the property and method it has. For example, I say let str equal to, and here I say I love JS, like this. And if I say, so let us now imagine this str is going to be an object. So if I say str dot, because we handle dot, we need to access something inside an object, we need to give this dot. So we can see what are the methods that are available for this. Console.log, I can str like this, and right now I comment this. I just run, and if I go for this and go for the console, and you can notice that this will simply display that, right? So this will simply display that. And here we have some of the default properties for string. For example, if I say length, if I say dot length, so what it's going to do, it's just going to return me the length of the, it's just going to count the sentence, count the sequence of the characters, and it's going to return it. So this is a property, right? Because we don't use this parenthesis. If I use the parenthesis, that is going to be a method. So I don't use the parenthesis, then this is going to be a property. So this length property is available for string to count how many letters and how many white space is available. For example, if I just remove an white space and I run this, you can notice this is going to be 8. So it is also counting the white spaces too. So everything that's inside this double quotes, it will take. So this is going to be a property. So what are the default methods available for string? So the default methods available for string is, I clear it out, copy it, paste it, and we have lot of methods are available. For example, we have two upper case. So this is going to be a method. So instead of, if I don't give any parenthesis, if I run this, you can notice that the formula has been written. So like there is a function, two uppercase method is available, and then native code. So native code is the code that is already available for the defined JavaScript program. Okay, so if I want to access this, what I need to do, I need to call this with a parenthesis. If I do that, then what will happen? This str, whatever the value it is, it's taken to this method, and the function, what the function will do, the function will do certain action. So here what it's going to do, it's going to convert everything to the uppercase. Okay, so this is one of the methods we have, and we have more methods like two uppercase, we have two lowercase method is available. If I run this code, you can see it converts everything to lowercase, and we can able to slice it. How can we do that? We can able to slice it. How can we do this? We can use some of the method called the substring methods. like str. Here we can use substring. Okay, so here you need to give the index. Okay, if I say 0, this is going to be the starting. So from 0 to, I say something like, what is the count of this? It's going to be 8, right? So I just going to say this is going to be 8 and this is going to be 7. So till 7, if I say 0 to 7, if I run this, you can see only 𝐿𝐿𝐽s is available. So if I remove this and if I say 6, and you can notice that it will get sliced. What is meant by sliced? It just cut it off the string. Okay, so how it is cut it off? So here string also have the indexes. Okay, so in JavaScript I already mentioned indexes starts from 0. So here you can see this is 0th index and this is first and second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Okay, this is going to be the sixth one. But what happened here, this 0 is inclusive. So it starts from 0. If I say 6, it is going to be exclusive. So it will remove it, excuse me, before 6 it will take. But it starts from 0. This is inclusive and this is exclusive. Okay. So these are several methods available, and we have so much of methods are available. You can use it. Like if you like around 22 22 23 methods are right now available. There do lots and lot of property. You can just google it, you can find so much of things. For example, I can say JavaScript methods like this, go for an image and you can see there are several methods available that will be shown. Like we have caret. So what is meant by this caret means it will indicates like particularly which indexes. Caret is nothing but a character. For example, here you have I love JS, right? So if I just in that character I just give the 0, it will tells which index that I am present. Okay, so the concatenate is like concatenate to string, this method will. And we have includes method, we will see what is include method. And we have ends with method, which mean check whether this particular sentences end with this particular word or not, like that you can check. And we can check the index of method, like which index that particular word is belong to, like that. And last index match, whether both the variable is getting match or not. And we can see like repeat is there, replace is there, replace or search, splice, split. And we see about substring. And split is nothing but to converting an string to an array. Okay, so we will see a little bit and we can move for the next. For example, I just paste it here. So instead of string, I say st split. I just say simply split, and here you need to give just an empty thing. And if I run this, you can notice that every variable is splitted and it is converted to an array, right? So here we can mention like which by using which one you need to split, like that we can mention it here. Okay, like this we can mention it. So actually what it will do, it will split each and everything in this variable. Okay, and it convert into an array. So inside this, whatever you are giving, based on that it will split. For example, right now I don't give anything, which means it will split each and every value and it is stored in individual indexes. But if I give another space, then what happened? So based on the spaces I need to split. So here you can see there is a space is available. So this is going to be the 0th index and this is going to be the second index. If I give a space here and if I give a space here, now what happened? We're going to have 4 items in it. Like you can see, we're going to have 4 items in it. So this is split, and we have something called as include. What does include method do? So include is pretty advanced added JavaScript, like it is introduced in I think 2018 it is included. So it will returns a boolean value, so it will tell that whether a particular word is present or not. For example, if I say love, okay, so it will check whether it is present or not. Even you can give a number, you can say if it is true, which means the word is present inside this string. If I say something like this Leo, if I run this, it return false because no word is present, like this. So you can give a single word to. If I say E, so if I run this, you can notice it returns true because it checked that whether a particular thing is present, it will returns the value. So this is some of the default method that are available for the string. And I already said there are so much of methods there, replace, revalue, everything. If I do all the things, means even this 1 hour is not enough, right? So I just, these are some of the common method that you can use it, and otherwise just please work it out, then it will get in flow. Okay, so this is method for string. And we're going to see about a method for, likewise we have number methods also we have available, and for all the primitive data types. And right now we're going to see about array. Okay, so I just create an array. Okay, so array is also going to be an object. Okay, so there is no difference in that. Like, okay, so I just going to create an array. I just say const array value like this. I don't want to give a big one. I would say star 2 3 4 5, something like this, and this is going to be an array. So what is the property available? As we already know, we have the length property. Like we can say console.log, and we can say arr.length. So what this is going to be written? This is going to be return how many count, and it will count the value in that array, and it's going to be returned. This is going to be one of the properties that is defaultly available. And what are the methods we have available? We have so much of array methods available. We're going to see about some of them, right? Just a minute. Okay, so the same like string array also has so many methods. So we just going to see about some of the methods. Okay, so we're going to see about how to add an element in array and delete an element in an array. Okay, so this is what we're going to see. So to delete element, we have pop, a method called pop is available, and we have shift is available. This is for delete. Okay, and for add we have push, and we have unshift. Okay, so this is for add. So what is the difference between pop and shift? Means pop delete the values at the end of the array. Shift delete the value in the beginning of the array. Let me see how it works. If I say arr dot pop, and after running this code, I call the console.log. Okay, and I call this particular variable arr. If I run this, you can notice that the last values get deleted. The 5, it's get deleted. If I run again, if I just copy the code and if I give it for 2 times, then what happened? It deletes the last 2 values. We can notice that 1 2 3 is available and the last 2 values get deleted. So the pop delete the value at the end of an array. Okay, like a queue, it will delete at the end. Okay, and we have shift, right? So if I right now I run this, you can see it is perfect. So right now we have shift method. So what the shift method will do, it will delete the method, like delete the value that is present in the front of an array. If I run this, you can see that 1 is get deleted. Okay, so this is the difference between pop and shift. So if I want to add a value, how can we do that? So how can we do that? We can say push, and inside this you need to tell which value you need to add. For example, I'm here, I just say JavaScript is what I want to add. So push, what it will do, it will add the value in the after last, it will add it in the end of an array. Okay, so if I run this, you can notice that 1 2 3 5 and JavaScript is get added. Okay, so this is how you need to add that. And if you need to add it in the starting of an array, and you need to call this unshift. So these are some of the default method that is available for the array. And more than that, here also we have so much of array methods are available, but this is one of the most common method that you need to understand. Okay, so and also we have some of the this method is used to just delete and getting things, and we have something like how we see it in string, the same like we also have something for array also. So we see some of them. For example, we have is array method is there. Like for example, we have a method called array dot is array. So what is mean by this? For example, if I use the type of method for array, it's going to return me an object. Let's see. If I say console.log, if I say type of ARR and I clear it and I run it, you can notice it's going to return me an object, because array is an object, obviously. Okay, so but I need to check whether the array is an array or not, because objects may be anything. Even an object is also an object, an array is also an object, and if we use it for null, it is also going to be an object. I need to check whether this array is array or not. Okay, for that you can use this method array dot is array. So if I give the array, whatever the array we are using, we give it, it returns a boolean value whether the given array is array or not, like that. For example, here we can log this with show the value in the console, like this. We can close it. If I run this, you can see true is written, which means the given value is an array. So if I give something like, right, a equal to 12, so this is not an array, right? So if I say a, it is going to return me false. So if you want to run a particular task based on whether it is an array, then you can use this array is array method. And what we have index of method. So this index of method, it's going to return the index of the element. For example, if I say console.log arr dot index of, and here I can say 2. So this 2 is going to be the value. So it's going to return which index the 2 value is present. You can see the 2 is present in the first index. So that is why it is written. So if I say something like 8, and you can notice that the number 8 is not inside this array, which means it's going to return -1, right? So what is mean by this? If it returns the indexes correctly, then the value is present. If the value is not present, it's going to return -1. Okay, so this is the method is about. And we also have include method for this too, like it is also ES7. It is introduced, I think, 2018. Okay, includes. So this is going to return it in boolean value. Like if I say 8, whether 8 is present, no, the 8 is not present. If I give 5, then it's going to return the boolean value true. You can use this include method for some of the comparison operator. That's what we're going to see about much later. And also you can use this index of method to check the index of it. So these are some of the methods that are available for this indexes. Okay, so the last and final thing we're going to see is, just a minute, we just going to see for the object. So what are the default methods that are available for the object? So if I say object, I just want to create an object. So I just going to say const person, or whatever the thing you need to create, you can create it. And just for naming purpose, I just say name, and we can create age is equal to 24, and we can create hobby about blogging, something like this. We can write like this. Okay, so this is, we have some of the methods, and if you want to add some of the methods and all, you can just add it. And how can we use this? We can able to access it, right? We know how to access it and all. And how what are the default method that we have available is, like we have something called as we can return the keys, and we can return the values of that. How can we do that? For example, if I say console.log and I say object dot keys, and inside this just give whatever the object you created, and I just give here like this. And if I run this, you can see all the object keys has been taken, and it is returned, it is given in the value, it is returned as an array, and everything is created. So instead of keys, we can give the value. So what happened, it will give an array of not value, values, sorry, values. So what this will do, it will return an array of value. Okay, so this is what this will do. Okay, so we also have some of the several object methods and all too, like same like array we have discussed, the same like we have objects and all too. So these are all the most common methods that are available. Okay, so this is all about functions and objects. So the next what we're going to cover, please explain array, reduce, method, map, filter. Yeah, like, so we are getting towards that, right? So we are just getting towards that, and I hope that today you will came to know what is maps, what is for each, what is everything, like you today you need to know. Okay, so for that, for like Shrivi asked, for that we need to know what is loop. So then only we need to understand what are those. Okay, so we need to understand what is loops. So loops are a thing that runs n number of times. Okay, for example, if I want to run a console.log, and I just want to run my name Hari for 10 times. How can I do that? So every time I need to call this like console. Like every time I need to call console.log Hari, like that, right? So I don't want to do that. So for that, what we can do, we can use loops. So loops runs a particular code for a particular number of time. For example, the traditional loop we're going to see is for loop. For loop. Okay, so this is the traditional loop we just going to see. How can we create it? The syntax for creating a for loop is you need to call the for, it's going to be the keyword, and you need to give the parenthesis, and you need to give the block of code. And here this is going to have the block of code to execute, Okay, so and inside this parenthesis we have three parameter. We need to pass three parameter. So the first one is initiation. I will explain it everything, and you need to give semicolon. Remember that semicolon is very must, and you need to give the condition for this, and after that you need to give the increment or decrement. So to understand this logic, can we create a loop for this? Okay, so we're going to create a loop for this. For example, if I want to loop through this, what I want to loop through, I need to, in the console, I need to type my name for 10 times. Okay, so I just write whatever the code I just need to type. So how can we use this parameter and how can we do that? We can use that, and we can do that by simply first I just initiate a value like let I equal to 0. So like simply like I'm declare a variable, same like that here I just initiated a value, a variable, and here I that is going to be a condition. If I is less than 10, if I is less than 10, then the code would execute. If it is greater than 10, then the loop will be stopped. I will explain it. And I just create I plus plus. So this is the code I have been returned. If I run this, you can notice that my whatever the logic I want, I need to run the code for 10 times. The code will execute for 10 times. So what I have done, for example, I just created let I is equal to 0. So a variable, I just created an initiation variable. So I let I is equal to 0. And here I'm giving a condition. If I is less than 10, so what is the value of I? It's going to be 0. If it is going to be less than 10, then this code would be executed. The third parameter will not do. So the third parameter will do afterwards. So first it check for this parameter and just go for next condition. If the condition is true, then what happened? The code will get executed and it will get printed here. And here what I say I plus plus. So what is meant by I plus plus? After that only the third parameter come I plus plus. So here I is going to be 0. What is meant by this plus plus? It is going to be an increment operator. So whatever the value of a particular variable, it's going to increase it by one time. For example, it is going to be a 0, then it's going to be increased is by 1 plus 1. It just add plus 1. That's it. So right now, what is the value? 0, but it done, it's going to be 1. So if it is 1 and right now it again check for it, 1 is less than 10 and the code will get executed and it will increase the value. So the value becomes 2. So 2 is less than 10. It will check again and again. It will check until it reaches 10. When the I reaches the value of 10, here you can see 10 is less than 10. No, 10 is not less than 10. So then what happened? This become false. The condition becomes false. So the code will not execute. Fine. So this is how the loops works. So this is how the for loop works. Okay. So we have several other loops too. Okay, so we have several other loops too, like while loop we have and do while loop we have. And I'm not going to teach like while and do while. Instead of that, I just going to teach an easiest way, like you can search it for while and do while too. Okay, so the same like it will be work, only the syntax will be reduced. For example, we go for while and then we move on to that. For example, I need to run this code. I need to run this code for while. How can I do that? So there is an updated version that is called as while loop, while, and here you can give the condition and here you can give the code to execute. So this is something like a syntactic sugar where you can use. For example, if I say here what the condition I want to do, so I need to say like I is less than 10. So if I say I less than 10, I need to declare it, right? So I just going to say let I is equal to 0, something like this. And here inside this, I need to say console.log, whatever the code to execute like this. And here after the code get executed, I need to say I plus plus. So what does I plus plus will do? It will increase it. So right now you can have the flow. So here you don't have that flow, right? Because this is going to be a traditional loop. And here you're going to have a flow. Like I declare a variable I is equal to 0 and I'm checking whether I is less than 10 or not. Yes, I is less than 10. With then the code will get executed. This line will just run, and afterwards I just increase the value of I by one time. So right now the I value becomes 1. Likewise, the code get executed until it gets 10. The code will get executed again and again, and you can notice that. And one more thing here to notice, that make sure that you are giving the increment operator and decrement operator correctly, because if you don't do means, then what would happen, the code will run infinite times, then your browser will crash and your system get hang. Okay, so this is what happens. And one more thing I need to tell, like by using this loops you can able to loop through the array too. For example, if I have an array like let x is equal to, I have an array 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So this is going to be an array. So if I want to display all the values of an array, what I need to do, I need to tell every time console.log x dot 0, and it's going to return the 1, and I need to copy it again and again. So to solve this problem only we have loops, right? So we just going to use this loops, and you're going to run this. How can we do that? For example, let us consider I is equal to be 0, and here instead of 10, what I going to do, I is less than x dot length. So what is mean by x dot length? So we all know that if I say console.log, if I say x, then what would happen, it will have the okay, so never mind of this while loop right now. It will have the array. If I say x dot length, then what would happen, this is going to be the property. So it will count how many array items inside it. So here we can have 5 array item inside it, then it will give me 5. So what is the code I have written? While I, what is I is going to be 0. 0 is less than the x dot length, which means whatever the count of that, it is less than nth, that is fine. And here what I need to what I'm going to say, x dot, instead of manually giving 0 1 2 3, we can give the I value inside it. So now what happened, every time the code get executed, then what would happen, this I is automatically generate the represent the index of the array. So right now it represents the 0th index, and then it gets incremented, and if it go for that, and it will go into, here we can say console.log like this. Okay, so every time it's get automatically, and it's going to fetch everything. So not only numbers, if I give something like everything whatever we have like this, if I give this, you can see it will automatically increment it and it will be executed. Okay, so this is the logic behind it. Okay, so this is while loop. So the same like we have, this is a pretty old way of iterating working with arrays, like loop throwing an array. So in most commonly the data are come with arrays and objects, array inserted objects only. So there is a modern way of approach is there, like iteration method, that is something called as for each method. Like we have for each. So what this will do, so this will take a function inside it. So we need to pass a function inside this, and it will take an array, and you need to give a dot, and this array, it's going to take an array, and this for each is going to be what it's going to be do. It will take a function and it will run that particular function on each and every element automatically. So what we don't want to do, we don't want to give initiation, we don't want to give the condition, and we don't want to give the increment. No, we don't want to do that. We we stop it. Okay, so we can simply say, like if I say array, what is the array? So the array is going to be x. So if I say x dot for each, so this is going to be another iterator. It is not a looping method. We can say it is an array helper or iterator method, and inside this it is going to have a function. So I just run a function, and I just simply like this, and here I just say item. So this function has three things. One is going to be the item, which means every element. The first item is going to be 1, the second item is going to be 2, third item going to be 3, like that. So for each method, what it will do, it will take this function, and it iterate on each and every element. Okay, it run on each and every element. That is what it will do. And we have a second thing that is called as array. So we have access for the array 2, and we have access for the index 2. So we have we can give 3 parameter. Right now we don't want the index and all. So right now whatever I want, I need only the item. So what I just going to say, just console log the item. So if I do that, what happened? This for each method runs on this x array, and it will take this function. So this is going to be the parameter. So the value right now it is getting from the 1. So this 1 is come inside here, and it will console log, and it will be displayed it. And likewise every element get console log, and it will be displayed it like that automatically. The same like what this loop will do, the same the for each method is also doing. So if I want the array, then what happened? We can call, if I want the array, which array that elements or that items are belong to, we can call the array. If I give the second parameter, this is for fetching that array. If I just give that, you can inside, instead of here, you can give console.log array. Clear it and run it. And sorry, this is going to be the index. The second value is going to be the index of the one. Okay, so this is going to be send the index of it. For example, if I remove the item and if I run this, you can notice that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is written, because that is going to be accessing the index. And if you have third parameter, that is going to be, I think, array. So you can use that. The third parameter, it will just send the array of the element. Like it will just send whatever the array it is get loop throwing, it will send the array of the element. So it will give access for the whole array. So the first parameter give access for the first element, the second parameter give access for the second element, and third parameter access to the third element. Okay, so right now next what we're going to see, like by using this for each loop, we're going to double this. How can we do that? So for example, for doing that, I need to say let y equal to an empty array. Okay, so and what I need to say, x dot for each. Okay, x dot for each, and inside this I just going to pass a function that is going to have an item, and I just want to return here we don't want to say the return 2, we can say item into 2. So what will happen? So these items get multiplied by 2, and I need to pass inside this y. How can I do that? Y dot push. We have push method, right? So inside this we can pass it like this. We can pass it. So now what happened? So it will go for the first item, and it will take it, and it will be multiply it, and it will be pushed for here. So likewise it will send the doublet of that array. For example, here we can, after running this function, we can say console.log, you need to give me the y. So the y is going to be the doublet array of this x. If I run this, you can notice 2, 4, 5, 6. How it is happening? So the for each method takes this function and it will run on 1 first. So 1 into 2 is going to be 2. And y dot push, what it will do? It will add the method at the last of an array. So it's going to be 2. And it will take the second one, and it now the item going to be 2, 2 twos are 4, and this is going to be passed into the y, and likewise it will paste it. Okay, so this is something going to be for each method. Okay, so but here you can notice that this for each method does not return anything. Okay, it does not return anything. It just iterate over this function, and inside this function we need to say that whether what we need to take and what we need to, like for example, I need to share it and push something like that. Okay, so that is some of the advanced topic has been arrived, that is going to be the map method. How can we do that? For example, if I say x dot map, and if I say same like this function, and here I say item, and here we can say return the item, like this. So what this going to be do, this is automatically returns an array. So for example, if I say const x equal to const y equal to something like this, then what happened, this map method get runs and it returns an array. It returns an array. If I say like console.log y, what happened, you can see an array is get returned. So the map method is what will do, unlike for each method, it doesn't return anything, we need to say everything. But here in map method, what it will do, the same like this array method, it also run this function, whatever the function we are giving, it run that function in every element in array, and it will return a new array. Okay, so instead of that, it will return a new array. So like if it run on 1 and the item is going to be 1 and it is going to be 1 and it returned 1, so a new array of y is created and the value of 1 is get stored automatically. Okay, so this is what about map. For example, in for each we need to give let push something like that array method we need to define, but here we don't want that. For example, if I want to say something like multiply by 2, so this is going to be the doublet, so 1 is multiplied by 2 and it's get automatically stored because it is going to return an array. So the only difference between for each and map is for each does not return anything, so we need to say that what to return and everything. So the for each method just iterate over every element and it run the function on it in that array. But map method returns an array, so you can see it returns an array. So here that's why we are using this const y or something, whatever you want to give the name you can give it. So why we are giving a variable, because it is returning something, I need to capture that, so we need to tell that where to store that. So here I say y, so in y you store whatever the value you have, you just stored it. That is map method. So then what about filter? So what about filter method is like the name itself, it filters the value. For example, here you can see x, right? If here this is going to be the item, and here I can say if item greater than 2, if item greater than 2. So now what happened, it will check for the function, it will take the item 1, and 1 is greater than 2, the answer is false. So if it is false, it doesn't return anything. If it is true, then it return it. So it will check for the condition and it will return it. Here you can see 3, 4, 5 is written, but 1 and 2 is not written. Why? Because 1 is not greater than 2 and 2 is not greater than 2, right? This is the condition we give. So based on that condition, so which all are the item inside, which all are the values we have, it look through it, it check for the condition, whether it becomes false, whether it becomes true, whether it returns true, then that value is stored inside a new array. Same like map, but it will work on based on the conditions, right? So this is all about return. And what about reduce? And reduce is a pretty powerful method, we can use it. And for using this, we have two things. One is called as accumulator, and we can call it accumulator, like we can say whatever the name you want to give. So this accumulator, we need to give the default value. For example, here after the ending of the function, here you can give the default value. Here I can give the default value is going to be 0. Okay, so what it will do means, here we can use accumulator plus and num. So what this will do means, accumulator, it's going to take the default value. What is the default value? 0. So 0, what is num? So the num is going to be the current value. Like right now it is in 1. So it is going to be the current value. So 1 plus 0, what is the value of it? It will be 1, right? So then what happened? This accumulator stores the previous value of the current value. So instead of 0, it will takes the value 1. Okay, because that's the value that gets, right? So likewise, what it will do, it will get sum up. Like if I give add, it will just sum up and it will give a single value. We can notice that. Get that? It will everything gets sum up. So right now it is in 0. So instead of 0, I just give 5. Then what happened? So the accumulated value is 5. So 5, what is the current value is going to be 1. So it is going to be 6. So then the accumulator value becomes 6. And what is the current value? It's going to be 2. So 6 plus 2, it's going to be 8. Then the accumulator value is going to be 8 and the current value is going to be 3. Like that it will work. So the value is going to be 20. Okay. So this is some of the array helper methods that are available for filter, maps, and reduce. And for you need to understand this, you need to work with the loops first of all, and you need to go for the array helper methods and all. Okay, so that is very more important. Okay. So we have covered so much of things here. Okay, so I will explain array, map, filter, and reduce pretty explained detailed. Without ACC is not used. I will explain it tomorrow. Okay, so I will surely, because the times is up, so I will explain it. So if you have it, you can use that. But for array accumulator method, you need to use accumulator. So you can give whatever the name you can give. I simply give ACC. You want to give accumulator, whatever the name you want to give, but it needs two conditions, because it's need an initial accumulator and cumulator, two things. Okay, so then only it will be work. Okay, you can use it. I will explain that very depth in the next class itself too. Okay. So, and tomorrow we cover about all other some of the advanced concepts and all. Okay. So leave the topic. If you don't understand maps, filters, and reduce, just leave it. Tomorrow we will see that, and make sure that you are done the attendance form and all. Okay. So tomorrow is not going to be the classes. You're going to have the classes for Thursday. Wednesday is going to be a project workshop is going to be there. Okay, so we're going to run a project for tomorrow, and when Thursday you're going to have the continuation of this workshop you're going to have. So make sure you free your time in Thursday. Okay, so if you have any doubt, contact me in LinkedIn and the TWD page, TWD member, whatever in WhatsApp. You just contact me. We can guide you. Okay, so thank you all.